The American Hosta Society and the Middle Tennessee Hosta Society invite you to Hostas, Friends, and Music in Nashville, Tennessee, June 13th through the 16th, 2012. Hi, my name is Ted, and I'm here with my wife, Rebecca.
Honey, look! The 2012 American Hosta Society Convention is going to be in Nashville, Tennessee.
You want to go?
Sure. You know, it's not too early to start planning our trip. Tennessee offers so many sites to visit while traveling to Nashville.
If you will be driving through East Tennessee on your way to Nashville, you might consider a stop in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, or the Trial Gardens at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville.
If you'll be traveling through West Tennessee, consider a stop at the Memphis Botanic Garden to view the AHS display garden established by the Mid-South Hosta Society. Or stop for a while at the University of Tennessee display gardens in Jackson.
And if you don't get to Graceland, we'll show you blue suede shoes in Nashville.
Well, everyone listening to us certainly knows something about Nashville.
Maybe. Everyone thinks they know something about Nashville, but I'll bet you $20 we can share some things with these folks about Nashville they don't already know.
Like what?
Well, let's start right here. Whose face is on the $20 bill?
That's easy. President Andrew Jackson, of course.
Sure. But how many know President Jackson's historic house and gardens are located in Nashville and are open to the public?
The Hermitage, home of Old Hickory himself.
You may know the sports teams at the University of Tennessee are called the Volunteers or Tennessee Vols. But do you know why? Actually, that story also has something to do with Andrew Jackson. Tennessee's nickname, the Volunteer State, originated during the War of 1812, when thousands of Tennesseans enlisted in response to the governor's call for volunteers. Andrew Jackson and his Tennessee Volunteers defeated the British in the Battle of New Orleans. And in 1836, Davy Crockett led a group of volunteers from Tennessee to fight and die defending the Alamo in Texas. There are Civil War historic sites preserved throughout the state. Tennessee was the last state to leave the Union and join the Confederacy at the outbreak of the U.S. Civil War in 1861. But here's something you probably didn't know. Tennessee furnished more soldiers for the Confederate Army than any other state, and more soldiers for the Union Army than any Southern state. If you are a Civil War buff, you can plan your visit to include the battlefield tours of Shiloh, Chickamauga, or Stones River.
Belmead Plantation is an historic mansion whose grounds now function as a museum. In 1853, the mansion was built by a prosperous family known throughout the world for breeding champion thoroughbred horses. During the Battle of Nashville, Union and Confederate forces skirmished in the front yard, and the mansion's stone columns were riddled with bullets. Evidence of the violence is still visible today.
And in nearby Franklin, you can tour the Carter House Museum and Carnton Plantation with their 1847 restored gardens.
Oh, I cried all the way through Widow of the South when I read it.
Nashville was first settled in 1779 and quickly became a crossroads to the American West. Located on the Cumberland River near the northern end of the Natchez Trace, it was perfectly located as a trading town to the western frontier. In the early 1800s, it became an important railroad town. Steam-powered paddle wheel boats could travel from Nashville up through Kentucky to the Ohio River, and from there down the Mississippi River to St. Louis, Memphis, and New Orleans. Today, the General Jackson Showboat operates for lunch and dinner cruises on the river. Nashville is the capital of Tennessee. One of Nashville's most prominent examples of Greek Revival architecture, the Tennessee State Capitol is a U.S. National Historic Landmark and is on the National Register of Historic Places.
Metropolitan Nashville and the surrounding area is home to nearly 1.7 million people. The city is a center for the healthcare, publishing, banking, and transportation industries. Nashville's often called the Athens of the South due to the many colleges and universities in the area. The Parthenon in Nashville, Tennessee is a full-scale replica of the original Parthenon in Athens. It was originally built in 1897 as part of the state's Centennial Exposition. Today, the Parthenon is an art museum and stands as the centerpiece of Centennial Park. Inside, the statue of Athena is the focus of the Parthenon, just as she was in ancient Greece.
In Nashville, the music of the mountains, classical from Symphony Hall, rock and roll, gospel, bluegrass, and country music all exist side by side in perfect harmony.
While Nashville is known as Music City, the entire state of Tennessee has contributed to internationally recognized American music that speaks across generations and cultures. In the 1920s, early recording sessions in Bristol captured the Carter family for the world to hear. Memphis has been a melting pot of musical forms: jazz, rockabilly, soul, and the blues. The Grand Ole Opry on WSM Radio has carried live music performance to audiences for decades and helped make Nashville into a musical crossroads.
And these icons of our musical legacy are right here in Nashville for you to visit.
The 2012 AHS Conference is hosted by the Middle Tennessee Hosta Society. We're planning a Hosta show, expert advice, and a silent auction.
And of course, hostas! Optional and convention garden tours will include Cheekwood Botanic Gardens and Museum, which was the family home of the creators of Maxwell House Coffee, and the Garden of Ben Page. You may have heard him speak at the Indianapolis Convention.
We'll also visit the garden of Shane Neal, internationally known portrait artist. And featured gardens of the Middle Tennessee Hosta Society members.
The convention site will be the Nashville Airport Marriott, conveniently located near all the attractions you will visit while you're here.
The Nashville International Airport offers jet service to all parts of the United States. So mark your calendars for the next AHS conference on June 13th through the 16th, 2012. And follow us to Nashville, Tennessee. It's your chance to experience Southern hospitality, great food, and neon nights. Y'all come!